Ladies, I want to remind you of something today. Heartbreak feels like standing in the middle of a storm. Your world is spinning, and everything that once felt certain suddenly slips away. But what if I told you that this storm isn't here to destroy you? It's here to cleanse you, to wash away what no longer serves you, and to help you discover the radiant woman waiting to rise on the other side. When someone leaves, it's easy to believe you've lost your worth. But heartbreak is not a reflection of your value. It's a reminder to return home to yourself. This is your chance to rediscover your dreams, your voice, your power, to fill your own life with beauty, whether that's through journaling, painting, traveling, or simply enjoying a quiet sunrise. Healing is not instant, but with every small act of love toward yourself, you begin to glow again. Remember, you are not broken. You are transforming. Every tear waters the soil of your rebirth. Heartbreak often feels like the end of the world. The weight of silence, the absence of a familiar voice, the emptiness where love once lived. It can feel unbearable, almost like life itself has stopped. When you're in that space, it's easy to believe the story is over, that nothing good can come after the pain. But the truth is, heartbreak is not the end. It is simply one chapter in the vast and beautiful book of your life. Think of a book you love. There are chapters filled with laughter, joy, and love, but there are also chapters of conflict, loss, and change. You don't close the book forever when a difficult chapter arrives. You keep reading because you trust that more is coming, that the story is still unfolding. Your life is the same way. This heartbreak, as painful as it feels, is not where your story ends. It is a page, not the whole book. Sometimes we confuse endings with finality. We believe that because something we cared for so deeply has ended, nothing good can possibly come after. But endings have always been a part of beginnings. The sun sets so it can rise again. Winter strips away the trees, only to make space for spring blossoms. A heartbreak clears the path so something new, perhaps something even more aligned with your soul, can enter. It's important to understand that you are not defined by this one chapter. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it has changed you. But you are still here, still breathing, still carrying dreams, talents, and a future that is waiting for you to step into. Your worth has not disappeared just because someone couldn't see it or chose to walk away. You were valuable before them, you are valuable without them, and you will continue to be valuable long after the memory of this heartbreak fades. And here's the beautiful part: every heartbreak carries a lesson. It teaches you more about who you are, what you need, and what you deserve. It refines your boundaries, strengthens your voice, and deepens your compassion. The very pain you feel now is the same pain that will allow you to connect more authentically, to love more consciously, and to live with greater wisdom. So instead of seeing this heartbreak as the end, see it as a turning point. A chapter that invites you to pause, reflect, and grow. The story doesn't stop here. There are still chapters of joy waiting to be written, chapters of love, chapters of peace. And one day, you will look back at this moment and realize that it wasn't your ending. It was your beginning, because no heartbreak has the power to erase your future. Your story is still unfolding, and the best chapters are yet to come. After heartbreak, there is a tendency to feel lost, as though the pieces of who you are have been scattered. You may find yourself asking, who am I without them? What do I do now that they're gone? It's in these fragile moments that the most important journey begins. The journey back home to yourself. So much of our energy and love is poured outward. We nurture, we give, we sacrifice. We build a life around another person, weaving their presence into our everyday. When that presence disappears, it can feel like a part of us has vanished too. But the truth is, you have not disappeared. You are still here, waiting to be rediscovered. Returning home to yourself means remembering who you were before the heartbreak, and also meeting who you are now with all the lessons, scars, and strength this experience has given you. It is not about rushing to fill the empty space with another person or another distraction. It is about sitting in the quiet and allowing yourself to reconnect with your own essence. Ask yourself, what did I once love doing simply because it brought me joy? Maybe you love painting, dancing, writing, or reading for hours without noticing time pass. Maybe you enjoyed walking under the sun, traveling to new places, or spending afternoons in nature. These are not just hobbies. They are doorways back to your spirit. Each small act of doing what lights you up is a reminder that your joy has always belonged to you, not to anyone else. This is also the time to listen to your inner voice again. Sometimes, in relationships, that voice grows faint because we are so busy listening to someone else's needs, dreams, and opinions. Returning home to yourself means giving your voice the microphone again. It means asking, what do I truly want? What does my soul crave? What kind of life do I envision for myself? And then, slowly, gently, beginning to align your choices with those answers. As you reconnect with yourself, you may realize that the love you thought you lost is not truly gone. It simply needs to be redirected inward. Imagine what would happen if you poured the same care, attention, and tenderness you once gave to someone else back into yourself. Imagine waking up and treating yourself with kindness, celebrating your wins, comforting yourself in your low moments, and creating a life that feels safe and beautiful from the inside out. This process is not about closing your heart to love. It's about strengthening the foundation so that when love comes again, it enters a heart that is whole, not seeking to be completed. You are already complete. You are already enough. Returning home to yourself is a gentle reminder that you were never truly lost. The love, the light, the joy, they've been within you all along, quietly waiting for you to come back. And now, with each step, each breath, each small act of self-love, you are walking yourself home. A pain after heartbreak is not something you can simply brush aside. It lingers in your chest, in your thoughts, and even in the quiet moments when the world is still. You may wake up in the middle of the night and feel the ache so strongly that it seems unbearable. And that's okay. It's okay to feel this pain. Healing does not mean pretending it doesn't exist. Healing begins when you allow yourself to sit with it, to honor it, and to understand that it is a natural part of moving forward. So many of us are told to just get over it or move on already, as though pain has an expiration date. But the truth is, pain doesn't work on a schedule. Healing is not a straight line. It is more like the ocean with waves that rise and fall. Some days you may feel strong and hopeful, and the very next day you might feel like you're back at the beginning. That does not mean you're failing. It means you are healing in your own rhythm. Healing is gradual because the heart is tender. It needs time to rebuild trust, to let go of memories, to release attachments. Think of it like a broken bone. It doesn't mend overnight. It requires patience, care, and gentleness. And while the bone is healing, you may not see the progress day to day, but underneath the surface, new strength is forming. The same is true for your heart. The pain you feel now is not a punishment. It's evidence of how deeply you were capable of loving. And that ability to love is not something you should ever regret. It is one of your greatest strengths. But now, that love needs to be redirected inward, toward yourself. Every small step you take, whether it's allowing yourself to cry, journaling your thoughts, seeking support from friends, or simply breathing deeply in a quiet moment, is part of the healing process. Give yourself permission to heal slowly. You do not need to rush into a new relationship or fill the emptiness with noise. You do not need to have everything figured out right away. The world will try to convince you that you must move on quickly, but real healing honors your pace. It allows you to feel the sadness without drowning in it and to welcome hope when it gently returns. Over time, the pain will soften. One morning, you'll notice that the memories no longer sting the way they once did. A song that once brought tears will bring nostalgia instead. A place that felt unbearable to revisit will hold space for new experiences. And eventually, the ache in your heart will transform into wisdom, compassion, and resilience. Pain is real, but it is not permanent. Healing is gradual, but it is always happening. Even in the moments you can't see it, trust that your heart knows how to mend itself. Trust that the same force that created you is guiding you back to wholeness. And remember, every step, no matter how small, is proof that you are already healing. There comes a moment after heartbreak when you realize that the glow you thought you lost was never tied to another person. It has always lived inside of you. At first, you may not see it. Heartbreak has a way of dimming our light, making us feel dull, unworthy, or invisible. But as you begin to nurture yourself, as you pour love back into your own heart, something magical happens. You begin to glow again, not because someone else gives you permission, but because you've chosen to give that permission to yourself. Self-love is not about vanity or perfection. It is about honoring yourself in the most authentic way possible. It's about saying, I am worthy of care. I am worthy of joy. I am worthy of peace, and then aligning your actions with those truths. It can look as simple as taking time to rest when you are tired, eating nourishing foods, or surrounding yourself with people who uplift your spirit. It can also mean setting boundaries, walking away from situations that drain you, and learning to say no without guilt. Each of these choices is an act of self-love, and together they form the foundation of your glow. The glow that comes from self-love is different from the glow that comes from someone else's validation. External validation can feel good, but it fades quickly when the source is no longer there. Self-love, however, is sustainable. It doesn't rely on anyone else's approval. It radiates from within because you know your worth, even if the world doesn't recognize it right away. When you begin to practice self-love, you also begin to see yourself differently. You notice the beauty in your own laughter, the strength in your resilience, the softness in your kindness. You start to realize that your flaws do not make you unlovable. They make you human. And the more you embrace yourself fully, the more radiant you become. People around you will notice it too. They'll see the light in your eyes, the confidence in your posture, the calm in your presence. That's the glow of a woman who knows her own value. It's important to remember that self doesn't mean you never feel pain or doubt. It means that even in those moments, you choose compassion instead of criticism. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" you ask, "How can I take care of myself right now?" That shift in perspective is powerful. It transforms the way you move through the world, the way you treat yourself, and ultimately, the way others treat you. The glow from self-love is not just for you. It also inspires others. When you love yourself deeply, you show others what's possible. You become a living reminder that healing is real, that joy is possible again, and that a woman's radiance comes not from being chosen, but from choosing herself. So let yourself glow, not because someone says you're beautiful, but because you know you are. Not because someone loves you, but because you've fallen in love with your own heart, your own soul, your own life. That glow will never fade because it comes from the truest love of all, the love you give to yourself. A heartbreak may leave you feeling shattered, as if cracks have spread across your heart and spirit. Those cracks can feel like weaknesses, as though you are forever broken. But what if those very cracks are the spaces where light enters? What if the places where you once felt pain become the openings for growth, beauty, and renewal? To bloom through the cracks means to allow your heartbreak to become the soil where transformation happens. Life has a way of breaking us open. Relationships end, plans fall apart, dreams shift, and people leave. Each of these moments creates cracks in the structure of who we thought we were. And yes, it hurts. It hurts deeply. But cracks are not the end. In nature, plants bloom through cracks in sidewalks, flowers rise through concrete, and trees grow strong even after storms bend their branches. You are no different. Within your cracks, something powerful is waiting to emerge. The pain you feel today may one day be the very reason you rise stronger. Each challenge, each tear, each moment of struggle is shaping you into someone wiser and more resilient. Instead of seeing your cracks as flaws, try to see them as reminders that you survived. They are proof that life tried to break you, but you are still here, and not just here. You are still capable of blooming. Blooming through the cracks is not about erasing your past. It's about integrating it into who you are becoming. You don't have to hide your scars or pretend you were never broken. Your scars are your story, and they can shine as beautifully as any polished surface. Think of the Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. The cracks don't disappear, they become the most beautiful part of the piece. That's what healing allows you to do, to fill your cracks with wisdom, compassion, and love until they glow like gold. This kind of blooming requires patience. Flowers don't rush to blossom, they take their time, growing roots before they rise toward the sun. You too are laying roots right now, rebuilding your strength, reclaiming your voice, and rediscovering your worth. Little by little, you will notice the changes. You will find yourself laughing again, dreaming again, trusting again. These are the petals of your new bloom, unfolding slowly but surely. And when you bloom through the cracks, you inspire others. You become living proof that pain is not the end, that loss is not final, and that beauty can rise even from the darkest places. Someone else may see your glow and find hope for their own healing, simply because you had the courage to grow. So don't be ashamed of the cracks within you. Don't try to cover them or hide them. Instead, water them with love, patience, and faith. Because one day, you will look back and realize that the cracks were never weaknesses at all. They were the spaces where your strongest, most radiant self began to bloom. So let your heart heal at its own pace. But never doubt this truth: your glow will return. Not because someone gives it to you, but because it has always lived inside you. Heartbreak is not the ending of your story. It is the beginning of your blooming. Walk forward with grace, carry your scars as symbols of strength, and shine so brightly that even the pain can't dim your light. Because you, my love, were never meant to stay shattered. You were always meant to rise and to glow again.